Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our May 6th, 2024 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the revelation of David Corenswet's Superman costume for the upcoming 2025 movie. We are going to be ripping this one apart, and instead of our costume analysis for Christopher Reeve, which we were due to do this week in that series of the analysis of Superman costumes, we're going to be jumping straight into David Corenswet's. We will be bringing in our good friend Mark Lax to discuss that with us. But before we get into that, let me welcome my co-host, Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We had a week off last week. I'm happy to report that all the repairs and that done on my house were pretty smooth, and the electricity did come back on just in time if I wanted to do the show, but considering I had no idea if that was going to be the case, I couldn't risk it, so that's why we didn't have a show last week, but everything is back in order now and raring to go for tonight's show. But want to first off thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Thank you for your support. And if you'd like to join those fine folks and support the show, you can simply click the join button there on YouTube. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks. Or you can go to patreon.com/Superman homepage to be a part of the sponsors of tonight's program and indeed the Superman homepage in general. But, Michael, how do fans get involved in tonight's show if we have time tonight, which we're not looking likely to, but nevertheless, there's different ways that they can get involved.
Oh, it's pretty simple. They just go to supermanhomepage.com/live and press the call now button. We put them in the green room and they can watch the show as they wait to get on, which, like you said, probably not going to happen tonight. Also, they can use their smartphone to and use the QR code next to me that says scan me. And again, they go to the green room. If you are going to try, and we do get you on, if you're through the website, please mute any external speakers you have. And if you're on your phone, please use your AirPods or whatever kind of microphone you do, because there's a bit of a crackly there. But yeah, that's usually how people can get to us. But it was a breaking news day, Steve, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to lie. My first thought when I saw it, no lie, was, oh, thank God this happened before the show.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that comment on your social media platforms. It was like, oh, this dropped just before the show. Actually, it was the first, like when I first woke up in the morning, I look at my phone, or actually I look at my watch to take it off sleep mode and then see what kind of messages are waiting for me. And then I see Michael Bailey podcast, and I'm thinking, and Michael's going, thank God this dropped before, and I'm thinking, is he talking about the 1982 DC Style Guide dropping, the news about that dropping? Like, is that really? And then I thought, I better check what else is going on in the world, and then I saw, oh my God, and yes, it always happens when I'm asleep. Like, it was like 3 a.m. this morning, I think, where, for me, that things dropped. So I got on to grabbed my phone, from my bed and posted the image, which we are going to speak of very soon. But look, if fans are interested in participating in the show other than calling in, then they can do that through the comments section on both YouTube and Facebook. Michael and I can keep an eye on that feed and react to any questions or comments you might have. So we love our live viewers and appreciate their company, and love the fact that they are with us tonight to go through what is another momentous day in the history of Superman. And seeing as how we are going to be discussing the costume analysis of David Corenswet's upcoming movie, Superman 2025 film, we are going to bring in our good friend Mark Lax. Hey Mark, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's everything?
Doing well, thank you very much. There you go, got your name down on the bottom now. Guest host with us. So we are ready to rip into tonight's discussion of the Superman costume. So let's, without any further ado, bring up that image right now. There it is, James Gunn, DC Studios, it's just been everywhere. You cannot get onto social media today without seeing this image pop up in your feed. This is the first official look at David Corenswet in the costume. First off, it was all done in camera, so this is not some kind of CGI computer-generated imagery. James Gunn says straight up on his, I think it was Threads social media account, the above photo was taken on set by Jess Miglio and was entirely in camera. So I'm not sure what that is in the background, a painting or whatever they have that they're using there. But let's discuss the background first. Firstly, is this Clark Kent's apartment? And geez, how much does he earn a salary to have an apartment that high in Metropolis? And secondly, is that what I think it is in the background? A DC huge thing that I don't know if it's one of the villains. Is it an eyeball? Is it a sun eater?
Yeah,
Um,
it that was the first thing that caught my eye was that it's just like you see the costume and then you're like, oh, there's something destructive in the background destroying the city. Isn't that interesting? It could be Solaris or it could be Brainiac. 50-50 on that, I would think. Solaris would make sense. James Gunn did mention that All-Star Superman was an inspiration, and Solaris is a Grant Morrison thing. But maybe it's Brainiac too.
my first impression was it's just used as a background. It might not actually be a part of the movie.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I mean, yeah, maybe it's a hint of something that's going to happen in the movie. But I just got the idea that this whole thing set up just to give us the glimpse of this costume.
Right, where when
That
we saw Man of Steel, we saw Henry Cavill in front of that bank vault. That was the image that we first got of the costume reveal for that film. Back in 2011, that image came out. I was looking it up today. And that actually does appear in the movie, that scene where he's fighting Feora. But yeah, whether or not this is actually from the movie or if it's just set up for a costume reveal, I don't know. I have seen a few people comment about it looks like cosplay. It looks like AI. Like, make up your mind. Which is it? Is it computer generated or is it, a fan sitting in a costume? Before we get into the design of the costume, I've also seen people going, well, if that's happening in the background, why is he taking so long to put his costume on? Shouldn't he be out there already? And again, we don't know if this is actually part of the movie, like you said, Mark. It could just be set up for the photo reveal. But
right?
it's nice to see that Superman puts his boots on one foot at a time.
No,
Well, here's why I think it's something from the movie. If you look at the symbol, it looks singed. It looks damaged.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Like
It does look like it's
yeah,
dirty or that there is some damage there.
so to
yeah,
me, when I saw that and I saw the thing in the background, my thought was, this is him after suffering a defeat. He's getting back into costume to go take on the bad guy, which is an interesting first picture to release. But yeah, that was the only reason I thought that. Now it could be just shading, but that does look like there's like soot and burn marks on it.
I agree. Totally agree. All right, well, let's have a look at it step by step. But let's start, as we usually do when we're doing a costume analysis, with the cape. Obviously, here we can't see much of the cape other than the fact that it is attached on the shoulders rather than going under the collar. We'll get to the collar in a second. It is red. It is material. It looks pretty long because it is draped on the floor there. Thoughts on the cape to start with, Michael?
Um, I really, it's a bit new 52-ish, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I like that it's a dark red, and I do like, as you said, looks really long because it's draped to the floor. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it is when he's actually stood up with it on, in a more to get a better sense of it. But so far, I don't mind. Dean Kane's second costume with those shoulder pads set a really low bar.
Mm.
So anything that isn't that, I tend to accept.
Or the belt clasps, like in Supergirl, season one. Oh, sorry, the first costume that Tyler Hoechlin wore in the Supergirl series with those clasps coming over the shoulder. Anything is preferable to that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, do you think the S needs to be on the back of the cape?
I would like the S to be on the back of the cape. I think that's pretty, at this point, kind of traditional. So I would love to see that. Now, whether it's there or not, I don't know. We'll find out eventually. But I think it should be.
Hmm. And your thoughts on the rest of it, the cape?
Well, I like the color as well. It does look pretty long. Again, until we see the whole, either in action or head to toe or what have you, we can't give an exact, opinion on it. But I don't know if I love so much it's coming from the shoulders and not the, underneath by the neck. But again, like you said, much better than those clasps from Supergirl. I mean, that was the one thing that I really did not like in that whole, when they first introduced him. But look, it's going to be different. It's going to be different from other suits, and they want it to come, they want it to be a certain way. So as of right now, I think it looks fine. I have no problem with it.
So let's get into the fact that looking at the body of the costume, and there's been a few things. Obviously, the neckline. We've been talking about the fact that the cape doesn't tuck under, and that's because obviously this is a higher collar type design, very reminiscent of the New 52, as we saw from the super chat. Thanks to Andrew Medley. Um, I'm not a big fan of the higher collar. I wasn't a big fan of that design in the New 52. First, I'm a very practical person. Um, I, how does Clark Kent hide this under his suit shirt? I can understand he's got a tie and collar, so maybe it fits underneath. I don't know, but I also saw people saying it looks very loose around the shoulders and it's not form fitting and that kind of stuff. He is leaning forward. He is reaching forward, and the material seems not necessarily. It seems more leather-like, more, solid as a material rather than fabric. Michael, what are your thoughts on both the neckline and the fabric of the body?
It's got that texture look that I'm lukewarm on. It's funny. It's amazing how the older I get, the softer I get on things. I wasn't the biggest fan of the new 52 suit, but I do over time. I kind of got used to it. I kind of didn't come to love it so much as like, it's not a bad design. Uh, I saw a lot of people complaining about the collar today, which almost makes me not want to complain about the collar, if that makes any sense, because it's just like, do I want to join that chorus or not? Uh, if I mean, there's a chance that it's like the new 52 suit where he taps a button and the costume spits out like he's Sailor Moon or something. Uh, but I like that the material doesn't look that it looks real. The fact that it's wrinkling means that it's not super molded, and it was kind of my problem with the Henry Cavill suit. Is it looked like it was snapped onto him, like it was plastic. Like, you remember that the Clark Kent disguise action figure from the Superman animated line where you snapped Clark Kent over
On top of
the Superman suit? That's kind of what this makes me feel. That's kind of what the Cavill costume kind of made me feel like. Whereas this looks textured, which I'm not a big fan of, but more natural. I'm wondering why they went with a high collar, and the only thing I could come up with is that they tried to design a costume that incorporated elements like from across Superman's history.
I was
So
thinking
this
the
is
same thing.
Yeah.
yeah. So the cape and the collar are more like, okay, this is the new 52 look, and that's where they decided to put that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's like we'll get to all the rest of the costume in a second, but yeah, you've got the collar and the cape, New 52. You've got the Kingdom Come style S. You've got we'll get to the trunks and the belt in a second. That's very classic. You got the long cape. You got the different style of boots, which are almost, I don't want to say it, but nearly Superman Returns style. Although they do have a New 52 feel as well. There's a lot of different elements in there from a lot of different costumes. So I did see some snarky remarks about it doesn't know which one it wants to be, but I think it's trying to pay tribute to many different ones. Mark, what are your thoughts on the body and the material of the costume?
Okay, well, first the collar. Wasn't with the New 52 costume, was not a fan of that. Was not a fan of the collar there. I don't mind it here. Would I like it to be a little lower? Sure, but I don't think it looks that bad. And also, I'm you could say I'm wrong, but I'm getting a little bit of an impression. If you remember Superman Earth One, the J. Michael Straczynski
Yes, yes.
series, it was a little more realistic. It was a little rougher, you know, and I'm kind of getting that sense a little bit.
Hmm.
Um,
And there is
especially
those kind of
in
design
the arms and the
lines.
shoulders.
Yeah, you're right. The shoulders area. But there are those design lines that have become more common in superhero material these days. There's not just a plain blue. So yeah, it's very interesting. We got a super chat from John Patrick Van Pelt. What type of cape are we looking at since Superman has so many different ones? Well, we kind of discussed the cape, that it just looks like a material cape, a fabric, rather than any kind of pleather look that we got in Superman Returns. So very interesting there. All right, so that's the body. The S shield we've discussed a little bit before in previous episodes about the S shield. As I said, it's very Kingdom Come. I like the size of it. It's not small like we complained about with Superman Returns symbol. It's not sitting bulked out like we did get with the Superman Returns symbol either. It's part of the costume, part of the material. So yeah, thoughts on Michael on the shield?
When the shield was revealed, that's when I was on hiatus, and I seem to be like one of the few people that liked it. I saw so many people complaining about it, and so many people saying, "Well, that's not the real Superman," and I'm like, I don't know. It's red, it's yellow, it's looks like an S. I I think the Kingdom Come Superman is Alex Ross's greatest Superman. In all honesty, I always preferred it to his more classic looking version. And seeing it, I'm like, okay, this is a new Superman that yes is honoring the past, but it's also trying to be its own thing. So why not differentiate yourself from the past? Also, this S at no point could be broken apart and used as knives. So right there, to me, that's a positive. I like the S. And like you, Steve, I like how big it is. I
Mm-hmm.
like that it fills the chest. I I like big S. I cannot lie, I guess.
Mark.
No, I like the size too. I like it. I mean, I don't like it. There were certain costumes, I guess, where the S was just literally draped almost from the shoulders to it's not that big, and I'm glad. I like that size. It's just the right size. Superman
Yep.
Returns was way too small. And other versions have gone a little smaller, a little bigger. This to me is just right. When I'm looking at Superman, when I'm reading the comics, to me it's just about that size S, I think, on his chest, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I like it.
And look, all those complaints we saw about the Kingdom Come, it doesn't look like an S. It looks like the Ghostbuster symbol, with the kind of blocked out, no kind of do not enter type of thing. It's still very much, the colors, the sitting on the blue. It's you can't go past. It's Superman. Like that still says Superman to me. It's not the traditional S. We don't have the serifs on the top and the bottom like we've talked about before, but it's still, when you see it in the costume, it still says Superman to me. So I'm still a big fan of the way it looks. But yeah, definitely here. Obviously, people talk about the colors. You can see that it's muted because it's, as Michael said, scorch marks, dirt marks, whatever it might be. There are, but you can look at the legs and you can see that his knee area and that is still very much a vibrant blue. So the top half of it has been darkened because of the fact that there are scorch marks or burn marks or dirt marks or whatever it might be. So that's fine by me. All right, so we move down to the fact the trunks and the belt. You can't see them here to really give a proper analysis of it, but you can see that there is a yellow belt and you can see that there are red trunks underneath it. So huge news, really, when you talk about a costume design for Superman. After so many years, the trunks are back. Michael.
I had to mourn the trunks back in 2011 when they got rid of them. And I know that sounds silly, but it almost happened. I have the opinion that the trunks, they're like ice cream with cake. If I'm having a piece of cake and someone offers me ice cream, I'm probably going to say, yeah, I'll have some ice cream with that. If not, the cake's pretty good on its own. I like the trunks. I like that classic look. So I am happy to see them here, but I'm not like falling all over myself saying, oh, thank God they're back.
Right.
I just like that they're back because, as we were talking before, if you're trying to do something that's kind of reminiscent and of all of his costumes, then having the trunks, which were there for over 70 years, would be a way to do that. And I like the fact that he's got an actual belt. That was my biggest problem with Cavill's costume, which I liked overall, was that nothing broke up the middle. And it looks like when this dude stands up, that costume is going to have a definitive top and bottom with the trunks and the belt kind of breaking that up.
Mark, are you happy that the trunks are back?
Oh, I'm very, very happy that the trunks are back. If there were no trunks, I wouldn't be crying or anything. But no, I'm very happy that they're trunks. I feel James Gunn seems to really want to, on the one hand, stick to some classic versions. At the same time, he wants to do some things that are different. But I would have been very, very surprised if there were no trunks.
Hmm.
I am very happy it's there. Again, if it wasn't, that'd be fine. But bringing them back, especially in live action, I think is a great thing.
Bibbo.
Well, I'm just glad that my favorite's back on the screen. And why is Bibbo like Jesse Ventura? What am I doing there? Uh, I like the cape. I like the S. Now I got to buy a new S symbol shirt, so that's going to cost me some money. But at least I can redecorate the bar and have everything look good.
Very good. Thank you, Bibbo. And thank you, Venkman, for asking Bibbo for his analysis of the costume. All right, so now we get down to the boots. And this photo is kind of directing our attention to the boots because David Corenswet's huge man hands are putting on those red boots. The veins are popping. He's got huge hands. And you know what they say, big hands, big feet. So it's... Look, looking at the red boots, they come up just high enough for me. Looking at the left foot because he's still putting the right... Actually, no. Looking at the right foot because he's still putting the left one on. It comes up halfway through the shin, it looks like. They are very reminiscent of the New 52 boots. It's not so much a V at the front. It's more like a U kind of dip. But, and obviously they're still very leather-like. This is not something that you would have under your Clark Kent dress shoes. That's why he's putting them on separately. But yeah, I'm happy. They look like a good vibrant red to me. But they're very much a leather boot, Michael.
Yeah, you're right. They do have a very New 52 feel to them, with having the U and not the V. I came on preparing to make a joke that if there aren't S shields on the soles of the boots, like the Superman Returns costume, I'm going to be upset. I think the boots are the boots are the one thing I think all of the suits across Superman, like from like Kirk Allen to George Reeves to Christopher Reeve to Dean Cain to to Brandon Routh to Henry Cavill to even Tyler Hoechlin, the boots are the one thing that are always like not the best thing about the costume, but they're always consistently good. I can't think of an outfit where I was just like, God, those look like crap. Um, I I got to see these in action though, because I'm wondering if that texture there is going to get lost when he's like walking or something.
Mm. Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. I like the color. Um, I, you know, yeah. Now that you've kind of put that side by side, but no, I like it. I don't, I never always had a huge problem with his boots. As long as they were drawn well, I prefer, the red boots because I think at one point he was wearing blue. Um, as long as they're, as long as they look good and this looks good, it's nice leather. It's, the red's a good color. I mean, again, until he really stands up and we see him in action, it's not as easy to say exactly how they look, but from what I see, I like them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're all pretty much fans of the boots so far. And then last but not least, just closing off some of my notes there, we look at back up to the top and looking at his face, his hair, the look of David Corenswet. Look, we've got the wavy hair. We've got what looks like a natural kind of spit curl, S curl there. I mean, it's that's dropping there on his forehead to the side. I like the fact that he's got a little bit of a sideburn. That looks really good. All in all, I have no problems with the hairstyle or David Corenswet as as a person looking at his face and his facial features.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Oh,
I love the spit curl.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely love the
Yeah.
spit curl. I love that this guy has that more classic comic book Superman look. And I say that because when you look at like George Reeves and Dean Cain, they both had kind of the swept back hair look. So it's not like having the wavy hair is a prerequisite. It just always seems to work out better.
Mark.
I I've always liked the curl. I mean, the swept back look is not necessarily one of my favorite looks for Superman, but it's the way it's wavy hair. He's got more or less the S curl, and that's good enough for me. I'm not gonna complain, any more than that. I mean, I think that's it looks really good to me.
Yeah, so thank you, Andrew, as well, for another super chat saying he hates the rebirth boot. Give him red anytime, and yeah, I'm pretty happy so far. Obviously, if I've learned anything in the time that we've been doing this, and Michael, you and I have been now we've had 3 or 4 actually costumes to analyze in live action. We've done Superman Returns, we did Man of Steel, we did Tyler Hoechlin, couple of Tyler Hoechlins, and now David Corenswet. If I've learned anything, it's not to judge the costume based on a photo still, but rather to see it in motion, in action. I mean, even in some of the animated features that we've seen, the costume, you think, oh, what is that? And then you don't even think about it once the movie's happening or the show is happening and you're watching Superman flying around, the cape's flapping, and it's a blue and red streak. And it's just like, really, it's not that big a deal unless you're sitting here looking at it as a still image, analyzing detail by detail. But all in all, are there things that I would change personally? Sure. I'm never 100% happy with any costume. Even the Christopher Reeve costume had issues, and we'll get to those when we talk about that next week. But it's Superman. It screams Superman. It looks like Superman. I overall I would give this, just based on this one image, a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm there too. About a solid seven, 7.5.
I'm actually going to go a little further. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Uh, Mainly because I'm. It's so much better than it could have been. Uh, I got to admit, I was worried about the suit, especially with that one fake photo that was circulating around uh, back around February. But yeah, I'll give it a solid 8. Like Steve, I've never. There's always something to be kind of crabby about, whether it's Christopher Reeve's costume or Dean Kane's costume, which was just too shiny, or George Reeves, which just kind of emphasized his knobby knees. I mean, it's just there's always something that's just going to be a little off. But the one thing the one last thing I want to say about the picture itself is I've seen so many people saying that he's looking nonchalant, like there's this destructive thing happening and he's just putting his boots on. It's a still image. um he's got this look on his face of he's like resolute. He's committed to something, and I think that's what the point of the picture and the framing of it is that this Superman, no matter what, is going to go out there and be who he needs to be. So I just, it was such an up and down day, guys. I gotta admit,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
like
It is.
seeing all the reactions to this has been exhausting.
Oh, tell me about it. It has just been crazy, and the nitpicking. And I saw one comment, and I reacted to it on our YouTube channel. Was people saying, one person said, Snyder fans or Henry Cavill fans are putting their fists in the air right now, and I'm thinking, why? The Man of Steel costume had just as many reactions, negative and positive, as this has. It's just like, it's Superman fandom. Doesn't matter what we do, there are going to be polarized opinions, and just get used to it. It's not like anyone's winning. It's just, if anything, we're all winning because we're all Superman fans and we've got a new movie coming. Like, I don't get all the negativity. Seriously.
I don't know. People, and especially, I mean, I don't know because I don't want to talk about Snyder fans and Steel fans and that kind of thing. But I mean, I think, like you said, we as Superman fans are getting a new movie
Mm-hmm.
where obviously this is our first impression of this suit, and until we really see it in action, we can't get a really solid opinion of it.
Yeah.
Why someone would be so happy that they thought it was that it was bad, and that other people would be happy about it, but I don't know. I just, to say I don't understand Superman fandom is, I mean, hey,
I'm
it's
with you.
just, but I mean, I just don't think there's anything negative about it. Even if you don't like it that much, I don't think there's anything negative about it. It's something new. It's a new movie. We're getting a new Superman movie, and we should just be thankful, if anything, that it's so far looking to me more up than down.
And here we have a little photo that's just appeared online today, before the show, of David Corenswet in the gym. So for those who are saying that he's not big enough, image.
Well,
I'll just put that image for you.
I just don't think he's going to be allowed near school grounds with those guns. I mean,
no,
Yes, very
that
good.
it's just like he's a beefy dude, guys. I mean, seriously.
Yep, exactly. So that's our costume analysis of the David Corenswet Superman suit from the image that has been released by DC Studios and James Gunn. Looking forward to seeing more images as we move forward. But thank you guys for that. And thank you, Mark, for appearing once more to do a costume analysis for us.
oh, thank you. A
We
lot of
will,
fun.
you know what, if you want to stick around, we're happy to have you stick around because we're going to go through and discuss more stuff Just after our break, we will be discussing more Superman movie news, some Lois and Clark news, and plenty more. We've got the Super Secret Sound-Byte to get through as well, our fan favourite question. So hang around for the last half hour of our show, folks. We'll be back right after these messages with so much more.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection. Can it be the Supermobile on the attack, the Lexor 7 armed with kryptonite? Will the Supermobile repel those deadly rays?
You bet. Ready for battle. Activate RAM.
New from Kenner's Superpowers Collection. Vehicles and figures with power action, each sold separately. Flying lessons for Penguin, fish bait for Luther. Can the Supermobile defeat the Lexor 7? You decide.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live, a shortened ad break this time around, just because we've got so much to get through. And let's get started with some other movie news in the animated side of things. We did get a preview or promo trailer for Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. I'm going to play a little bit of it here for you, but that is the end. Once we get this, because Part 2 has just been released not that long ago, and Part 3 is coming. And that will be the end of the Tomorrowverse of animated movies. But here's a little bit of that promo for Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. Just trying to find... Here it is.
Luthor, you sold us out.
Are you seriously accusing me of somehow contacting the Anti-Monitor? Oh, God.
You made some kind of deal with that monster.
Of course I did.
So there's just a little bit of it. You can watch the full trailer at our website or on our YouTube channel. We don't know of an exact release date as yet, but it is coming. Part 1 is available. Part 2 is only recently been released. And Part 3 will, as I said, finalize the Tomorrowverse animated universe. Thoughts, Michael?
I still haven't decided if I'm waiting for the third one to watch all three of them. I have both. I purchased both, which was as you know, Steve, it's kind of a big deal. I haven't been buying many of these movies,
True.
But it's Crisis. So I love the Lex Luthor thing. I just love that, and just like that. Are you accusing me of double crossing you? Of course I did that. That is so Lex Luthor. I love it.
Mark, have you watched any of the Part 1 or 2 yet?
I watched Part 1. I haven't seen Part 2 yet, which I plan on seeing pretty soon. So yeah, I mean, it's what I do like about it is it is different. Yeah. I mean, it's following the same storyline and all that, but it's just different enough that it's not it's not a repeat of it, and I guess it really couldn't be a repeat of the actual story because of so many reasons. But no, I enjoyed the first part, and I'm getting ready to see the second one. And we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, before we get into TV side of things, we should do our monthly and weekly segments. Let's start with the big question. Here is our intro.
Let's start with the big question.
All right, Michael, what was our big question from... Actually, we don't do the big question anymore. We do the Super Secret Soundbite. Where am I going? Geez, that's a flashback. Here's a Super Secret Soundbite.
Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs can hear this frequency, Superman, and that's you.
Scrap that in editing. Michael, what was our... listen, let me start again. I'm just off my rocker tonight. Just so much going on. Here is our Super Secret Soundbite from last week. Last month, even.
Kara, I thought I told you to stay out of trouble.
Who, me? I'm not in trouble. And by the way, it's Supergirl. See? Super? Girl.
So there you have it. That was the Super Secret Soundbite from last month. Michael, where was it from?
That was from Little Girl Lost.
Yeah, and who guessed it
Superman
right?
the Animated Series.
That's all right.
I guessed it was Little Girl Lost from Superman the Animated Series, Lorenzo Valdez, Ryan Ignatius Pratt, and John Patrick Van Pelt.
Yeah, congratulations.
You needed a fourth person that had 5 names, because that was an interesting little...
Nice. Oh, we lost Michael. Michael's dropped out there. We'll get him back in a second. But yeah, congratulations to those 3 people for guessing where in the world of Superman that sound came from. Here is the new Super Secret Soundbite for this month. And I can't hear anything. Why is that? Here I am a bit rusty. Skip a week and that's what happens. You forget what you're doing. Here is, let's get this going again. Here is the new Super Secret Soundbite. I'll grab that for you in a second. Let me...
Clark. He was an infant when we left.
There you have it. If you think you know where in the world of Superman that sound came from, use the Super Secret Soundbite entry form found at the Superman homepage and send your entry in. Each person who guesses it right will have their name read out when we return to this at the end of May. Just go to supermanhomepage.com and under the contact menu you will find the Super Secret Soundbite entry form. All right, let's jump into the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, Michael, what was our fan favorite question from last week?
What is your favorite Metallo comic book cover? And JP Rocha wrote in, my favorite Metallo cover is the cover, Superman #1 by John Byrne. The kryptonite green of Metallo really pops on that yellow background.
Yep, let me grab it up for us right there. Here it is. That is the first issue of Superman back in the day, John Byrne. So, thank you so much for that answer. Where's my next Super Secret Soundbite? My notes are all over the place tonight. I'm not finding the next one. Michael, you want to read the next one for me, please?
Yeah, David Rustage wrote in, nice to see Michael back and Mark getting more screen time. I have chosen 3 of my favorite Metallo covers, 2 of which I remember buying and reading. They feature variations on the character, and one doesn't even show him on the cover. As Kurt Swan and Neil Adams are my favorite Superman artists, this was an easy choice.
Very cool. Thank you, David. There are the 3 covers that David sent us in. Next up, we had Lorenzo Valdez. And Lorenzo sent in this image saying, I was delighted to hear this week's fan favorite question when I watched Superman homepage live today, as coincidentally just earlier this morning, I read a Stella Metallo comic. The Digging for Kryptonite podcast, in which Mark Lax was an awesome guest in a recent episode, just released a new episode covering Mark Millar's run on Superman the Animated Series tie-in Superman comic book, Superman Adventures, and so this morning I began digging into this collected edition, the cover of which features Superman fighting Superior Man, who, spoiler alert for an issue that was originally released over a quarter of a century ago, turns out to be a disguised Metallo being manipulated by Lex Luthor in Superman Adventures number 27, the first issue in the collection. Therefore, I submit this uniquely cool DC AU style Metallo cover by Rick Burchett, with inks by Terry Austin of Metallo, looking very different than usual in this Superior Man costume. There you go. Cool one.
John P. Van Pelt wrote, here are some cool Superman Metallo comic books that I do like for the fan favorite question segment. I found DC superheroes Superman the Menace of Metallo and Superman Metallo Attacks. I hope all the Superman homepage live listeners like them. And welcome back, Michael Bailey. Thank you very much, John.
Yes. Thank you, John. Next up, we had Elliot Quadrado, who sent in this image, which he wrote, my favorite Metallo comic book cover would have to be Superman Man of Tomorrow number 14, which was released on August 3rd, 2020. It's Clark with a determined look on his face going mano a mano against Corbin as there's destruction all around them. On a side note, I really liked the Man of Tomorrow series and wish DC would bring it back. Well, thank you, Elliot. And thank you to everyone who responded to the fan favorite question. I didn't get you, Michael, to ask to give me one, but that's next week. That's Metallo, so that's Parasite. I'm looking that way. I want too far ahead because that is our question for next week. What is your favorite Parasite cover? So get involved in the fan favorite segment of our show. The email address that you need to respond to is info@supermanhomepage.com. So send in emails and we will reveal your favorite Metallo covers Parasite covers when we return to this segment next week. So thank you for those who responded this week. Not that I have the images, but do you guys have a favorite Metallo cover, or did any of those resonate with you?
There was one from Brave and the Bold that it has Lois Lane coming in because there's Batman teaming up with Lois Lane against Metallo. And just because it's Batman and Lois Lane against the character, I think that's just an insane idea. So I got it. That's where we also learned that Lois learned the Kryptonian martial art Clucklore, which is just fun to say.
Mark.
Well, maybe it's a cheat or something, but I love that old one with Clark Kent revealing his Kryptonian heart to King Superman. I would say probably Superman #1, John Byrne.
Yeah,
I mean, that's such a classic, classic cover.
Cool. All right, well, that's the fan favorite segment for another week. Let's jump into the TV side of things. And it's been a big week 2 weeks since we were on the show for Superman and Lois. They finished filming. They did a wrap, and there was plenty of farewells messages going around. We had a number of the cast members posting on social media. We had this from Bitsy Tulloch, who said this was printed on the bottom of her final call sheet for Superman and Lois, saying that to the best cast and crew in television, thank you for 4 seasons of tireless dedication, endless enthusiasm, and your massive talent in making Superman and Lois one of the best adaptations in Superman mythology. And then Bitsy also posted a farewell message on her Facebook account saying, how lucky am I to have been able to inhabit this woman's bones, brain, and heart for the last 4 years. And she goes on to say this, that, and the other about the cast and crew and Todd Helbing and Brent Fletcher and all the rest. And she says, I'll be grateful to the day I die that I had these few years to wake up every day and be Lois Lane. And then Emmanuelle Trickery posted her own heartfelt message farewelling Superman and Lois, saying that what a wild ride these last 4 years have been. We have weathered so much, from COVID to strikes and everything in between. We truly became a family. And she says, I think this final season will knock your socks off. That's a wrap. And so she posted a couple of photos from her time filming. And then Michael Cutlitz also posted his message on social media with this photo. On Twitter, he wrote, Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois will forever be one of the highlights of my career. Thank you to everyone involved. And then photos of the after party, wrap party that they had, wrapping up 4 seasons of Superman and Lois. You've got Tyler Hoechlin cutting a cake for Superman and Lois. And then there was just the whole setup that the WB and CW put on at this event with lots of Superman imagery and WB logos. It must have been pretty cool to be there, I imagine. But they wrapped up 4 seasons of Superman and Lois, which we will see on our screens probably around September, October this year for the 4th and final season of this wonderful TV series. Michael.
Yeah, I think our invites got lost. I was away, so it's just possible I didn't get it. No, I'm legitimately sad that this is over. I posted something. A lot of people were posting things, and I think the reason why there's kind of a melancholy around it is usually when we get notice that the last episode of something is finished, it's like the season's already underway. We've got to wait like 3 months. like it's over, bye, and it's just like, wait, we haven't even seen it yet. So I'm excited for the 4th season. This show will always be the most special Superman show of my lifetime, just for a variety of reasons. And God, I don't think any of them, you think of like the troubled history of some of these Superman projects. I don't know if any project or TV show faced as much adversity as this one did. So yeah, I'm going to miss it. I really am. And Tyler was probably very glad that he could eat that piece of cake. Because he didn't worry about into the costume the next day.
Yeah, nice. My invitation went missing as well. I guess, I couldn't fly to the US. I don't know about you, Mark. Like, what was your availability?
Oh, I was available, but yeah. No, I'm really going to miss this show. I know you could say, hey, we're getting 4 great seasons and we should be happy, and I am, but I really would have loved for this show to continue. But you know what? We look back on it, and even though we haven't seen the 4th season yet, I know it's going to be great. So, we're going to look on it as 4 great seasons of really one of the best Superman shows that has ever been on television, with one of the best casts of Superman, from Superman that have ever been on television. So I'm really going to miss this one.
Yep. Michael, are you going to continue your podcast and your reviews for season 4?
I'll definitely be doing the reviews for the homepage if you'll have me. The Superman and Lois tapes is going to continue. Things are in flux. I've got about 3 or 4 episodes waiting to be edited, and then we've got to record for the last 2 episodes of the previous season, which kind of felt like the start of a new season, as we talked about when they happened. So maybe it'll actually fit better to talk about it closer. Things are just crazy right now. As people can see, I'm actually back at my house because I had to come home to get some packing done. But yeah, it'll continue. Definitely, cool. We're gonna finish it out.
And as for Kenneth's question about whether we'll see anything on Superman and Lois at San Diego Comic-Con, good question. I don't know. We don't usually get too much at Comic-Con about TV side of things, but you never know what might be there or what they might do. But what we do know for the last season and probably the last episode of the last series is that Tom Cavanagh, who is best known as the Reverse Flash in the Flash CW series, we know that he's directed a couple of season 1 episodes, but he's supposedly coming back as a character of some kind in the finale. He revealed that at a recent Fan Expo Philadelphia panel. That's interesting news that he will be back. We don't know what role he'll be playing, but he's coming back. He's coming in as a cameo of some kind.
So the moment I heard this, the moment I read the article, I was like, I hope it's a payoff to that throwaway line in Crisis on Earth X when they had Kara captured, and she looked at him. She said, and Eobard is about to do something nefarious, and she goes, "Just wait until my cousin finds out." And he's like, your cousin. He's fast. I met him in the future. He's fast. I'm faster. So I'm wondering if the last episode, because, we saw the picture of Steelworks in 25 years. Is the last episode going to be kind of like a progression of showing how this world evolved, and is he going to be the Reverse Flash, or is he going to be Harrison Wells?
Very interesting. Mark, we have a new trailer for My Adventures with Superman, the season 2 for the animated series. Are you excited for season 2?
Oh yeah, very, very much, very much. The first season. The first season was great. Talk about newer takes on Superman. It's a little newer, but still faithful. The idea of I don't know, Supergirl's coming into it. I think it's a little too early if that's the case. But I'm not, no complaints. I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, have a look at this trailer.
Tommy, next day on Max.
I'm not alone.
Heroes Unite.
There you have it. Yeah, it looks like Kara is appearing in season 2. I'm not alone means looking at baby Kara there. Why is season 2 premiering an hour compared to a 2-part series premiere last year? It's the same thing. They're half-hour episodes. They're playing episodes 1 and 2 of season 2 at the hour premiere on Saturday, May 25th. So that's why it's like that. So yeah, looking forward to it. Yep, confirmation. Alex that we saw in season 1 is Lex Luthor. So he'll obviously play more of a role in season 2. So really looking forward to that when it airs, and it's not too far away, folks. All right, just quickly wrapping up tonight's show. Kristen Kruk has been added as a special guest to the 2024 Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. So she will be there for, I think it's Friday and Saturday, June 7th and June 8th in Metropolis. So if you're headed there, that's another great special guest that's been added, along with Bitsy Tulloch, Brandon Routh, and Mark Pillow. So that's great news for people attending the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. And we mentioned at the top of the show that DC is about to bring around or reprint the highly influential 1982 DC Style Guide with art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Praise be his name. Which is really interesting news that they are going to be reprinting that, because that is something that we've been calling for a while. We've seen bits and pieces of it online, but the complete style guide will be published in August, so you'll be able to look forward to that. We'll bring you more news about that, because I've contacted the publisher who is bringing that to us, and they will give us some more information as they can. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. I want to thank the huge crowd that joined us tonight live, watching us for the complete hour of Superman Homepage Live. Thank you for your company tonight. Thank you to my co-hosts, Michael Bailey and Mark Lax. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, pleasure as always, Steve and Mark.
And we will be back next week on Monday, May 13th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. Hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey and Mark Lax. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Good night.